New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all.
This is What's Up and Why, bringing you the bright side of life, one fun moment at a time. Brought to you by the New Thought Media Network. Please put your hands together for your hosts, Rev Casey Taylor and Miss B Lovely. Clap for me, clap for me. Hello, welcome to another episode. No, don't worry, nothing is wrong. Rev Casey Taylor, my co-host, is just taking some much needed time off. So you guys are going to be riding solo with me today. And I have a lot of fun things up my sleeve that I want to talk about. We're going to be going into the pop culture bag today. Lots of fun things. As you can see, I'm dressed in all black. No, I was not going to a funeral. I've actually been in celebration because Miss Belcalis Amazar, aka Cardi B, is wrapping up her first tour, the Little Miss Drama Tour, which is in support of her second album, I Am the Drama. She came to the DMV area. I was about to say over the weekend, Baltimore. She was in Baltimore on Saturday. That is not a part of the DMV. If you know, you know. And then she was in DC last night. So I got a chance to see her both nights. Amazing show. I've been a Cardi fan since Bodak Yellow dropped. Never watched Love and Hip Hop because my reality TV watching days ended after the whole Flavor of Love, I Love New York, Real Chance of Love. That was my era of reality TV. But I want to give a huge shout out to Cardi B, even though she don't know me. But hey, I feel like a proud parent because like just seeing how much she has grown over the years. Like this is her first tour. There was a lot of people who doubted her because she was pregnant during the release of her album. She had her baby in November and then started the tour. I believe it was like either the end of February, beginning of March. There was a lot of people that did not think that she was going to be able to go on tour because when she was supposed to do her first tour for Invasion of Privacy, there was the news that she had gotten pregnant and then she didn't go on tour and stuff. So the ticket sales, they were slow in the beginning because I was watching and that's when I snagged my tickets. But her shows, so far, all 28 shows that she's done up until now have been sold out. I can concur. There were long lines wrapped around CFG Arena, Capital One Arena in Baltimore and DC for her concerts. For the Baltimore show, we were standing outside for like a good hour before they were able to open the doors to let us in. But Cardi did not disappoint. Like that woman, she is a natural born entertainer. It's something about her stage presence, her comedy, like her sense of humor. I love it. The show was amazing. So if the Little Miss Drama Tour is coming to any city near you, I will highly suggest that you get tickets if you are a hip hop fan or a Cardi B fan. Like it is a phenomenal show and you're going to have a really, really good time. So we're in the black ensemble to match the whole I Am the Drama, the I Am the Drama look. Speaking of drama, Zendaya and Robert Pattinson's movie, The Drama, it came out in theaters this past weekend. If any of you guys got a chance to see it, you know that there was a huge surprise. So I cannot really talk about the movie without giving away the spoiler, but it's about this couple. They're getting married. They're having a little talk with their friends as they're like doing the tasting before the wedding. And then some big revelations get dropped. The only thing that I did not like, okay, so I love the movie, The Drama. It was very obscure. A24 is the studio that produced the movie. A24 has a good track record of creating films that are very artistic, that are very thoughtful, thought-provoking. But there were a lot of people that was online spoiling the plot of the movie. You can't really talk about the movie without giving away the plot. And for me, the big reveal in the middle of the tasting that it basically reveals what the drama is. It was given away because a lot of people online are talking about the spoiler for the movie, which is very controversial. I'm not going to get into it. I'm going to let people watch the movie and form their own opinions. But I thought it was a very thought-provoking film, a very interesting film. I just wish that I would have not been spoiled by it. So I'm going to do better to all the people who are online giving away spoilers. doing all these think pieces and stuff, especially if it's opening weekend for a movie. If it's opening weekend, not everybody has seen the movie yet. People are still trying to get their lives together. People are still trying to get ready to go see the movie. So for you to be online dropping spoilers the weekend of, it ruins the movie going experience. And I'm a huge cinephile. I love movies. The movie I'm looking forward to next is Will Packer's You, Me, and Tuscany, starring Halle Bailey, Grammy-nominated singer. She was Ariel in the live-action version of Little Mermaid. If you watch Bridgerton season 1, you know the Duke, played by Regé-Jean Page. He's the lead role in You, Me, and Tuscany. It's basically a movie about a girl who goes on a spur of a moment trip to Italy that ends up changing her life forever. It's a cute little rom-com. And I think the world is in need of some positive, happy, joyful films, especially with everything that's going on. I cut an interview today with Halle Bailey and Ray J. Jean Paul. And they basically was talking about how they're really excited for people to see this film and they want people to be okay with leaning into joy because love doesn't have to be about hurt, about pain, about suffering. Love can be joyful. They had said like they want people to come out to the movies to have like a shared community experience because the theaters is supposed to be a community type experience. When you go to the movies, everybody's supposed to be in that big theater room together, taking in whatever the movie is giving, and then, reacting with it amongst each other and stuff. And I thought about that for a minute because we lost that during the pandemic, where a lot of movies was going to streaming and a lot of movies just wasn't coming out to the theaters. So I really encourage people to go out to the theaters, go see the drama with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. I think that's a really good movie. It's rated R, so leave the kids, leave the teenagers at home, leave anybody who is sensitive to violent topics at home because the movie does kind of talk a little bit about violence, and that is the most I'm going to talk about what the drama is about. But it's a really good movie, and if you're in the mood for a nice, happy, bubbly love rom-com type movie, You, Me, and Tuscany is coming out. So looking forward to that. In terms of literature, the singer Brandy, she's getting ready to release her new memoir called Phases. And if you've been on social media, you've probably been seeing a little bit of people talking about it. Some of her excerpts have came out. She addresses her very controversial relationship with a member of Boyz II Men. How do you pronounce his name? Is it Wayan? Well, I can never really pronounce his name, but he was in Boyz II Men, and he was in his early 20s when he started dating her when she was 16. And she speaks on that and says how she's removing the shame and the stigma that she carried with herself for all those years and basically calling him out and making him be held accountable. She's talking about that. She's talking about her relationship with famed music producer Darkchild. If you are a fan of 90s, early 2000s R&B music, you've heard Darkchild. You've heard his song on the top of his little tagline on the top of songs like Say My Name by Destiny's Child. He did The Boy Is Mine with Monica and Brandy. And Brandy talks about how even though they had a great relationship making music together, there was some animosity. And at one point, he even threw in her face that he was going to leave her to go sell millions of records with Beyonce. So that sounds like there's a little bit of drama there. And Brandy is opening up about that. She's going to open up about that car accident that she got into in LA all those years ago, where a woman ended up dying because of the accident. She talks about that. Talks about her relationship with her brother Ray J, which is interesting. So I'm a real big pop culture girly, and it's just very refreshing to see that we're in this era where a lot of these legacy artists are telling their story now, and we're getting to get like a behind the scenes type of getting a behind the scenes look of what was happening behind some of our favorite artists, like Mariah Carey have released one, Kerry Washington recently released one, Viola Davis. We're just in the season of memoirs. So Brandy's Phases is going to be coming out soon. Looking forward to that. Also, shout out to Brandy. She just got awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. We are really, really happy for her for that. That's a huge feat. We're going to get into our next segment called Do Better Blues. Do you ever find yourself holding on to any resentment of when people have done you wrong? Thinking back on instances where you knew that you were innocent and you were treated wrong, where people have like counted you out and stuff, and you realize you're holding on to some type of bitterness, like you got a chip on your shoulder. I want to get into that and implore us. I'm saying us because I'm one of those people to do better and to let it go. Because something that I've been reading up on is, did you know that holding on to anger, animosity, holding grudges against people, it can actually affect you long term and can even cause your body to develop an autoimmune disease. And I came across a post on Instagram that really helped me to like get my thoughts into perspective and to really let go of past things that used to really bother me. And it's basically saying that you have to protect your peace without becoming bitter. And we're going to go through like a little religious angle. So bear with me real quick. In the Bible, there's the book of Joseph. If you're familiar with the story of Joseph, he was a happy go lucky kid. He was his father's favorite son, but his brothers became jealous of him because Joseph got all the attention, Joseph got all the loves. And so they betrayed their brother, sold him into slavery for just like a few coins. He was sent to Egypt, lived as a slave. I forgot for how long he was held in bondage for, and he was accused of doing something. He was accused of sleeping with the Pharaoh's wife because she was doing unwanted sexual advances towards him. He didn't want that because he wanted to be respectful of the Pharaoh. So the queen lied to the Pharaoh, got Joseph locked up, and so he was in the bottom of the palace in shackles for years. And he got to a point where he became angry with God, asking God, why are you allowing this to happen to me? Why are you allowing my brothers to betray me, sell me into slavery? I got lied on. Now I'm down in this prison where I'm basically going to be here for the rest of my life until I die. But God had a bigger plan for Joseph. And at the end of it all, God ended up using Joseph and his gift, because he had a gift for being able to see visions in his dream. And the guys who were prisoners the ones who was able to get free eventually, was sharing with the Pharaoh how there was a man in the cells who was able to like see the future and get messages from God. And so the Pharaoh decided to set Joseph free, to use him to help get Egypt out of famine. And Joseph went from being locked up in the prison underneath the palace to becoming the Pharaoh's right hand man. The Pharaoh began to trust Joseph. The Pharaoh used Joseph to like help orchestrate building, getting Egypt out of the drought. And eventually, Joseph's brothers came to Egypt because of the drought, looking for food, because like the Pharaoh was able to like give out grain and food and stuff to people who were nearby. So his brothers came to Egypt. They had no idea what happened to their brother. They ended up coming to their brother asking him for food, not knowing that was their brother. And in that instance, Joseph was met with two options. Do I hold this grudge against my brother? Do I forgive them, feed them, love them, welcome them into my home? That's what Joseph did. He decided to forgive his brothers who sold him into slavery. This boy went from living the most lavish life to being sold to a Pharaoh, being put into slavery, and then being put into prison. But then God pulled him out of that and had him to be like one of the top men in Egypt. And he was able to get over that. In this post that I found on Instagram, it says, Joseph was betrayed, rejected, and mishandled, but he didn't let it turn his heart hard. That's the main thing. Don't let it turn your heart hard. You don't have to become cold just because people treated you wrong. Let God deal with them. Let God or spirit deal with them. And you can stay focused on becoming who you called you to be. Because Joseph didn't let the bitterness overwhelm him, he was able to still live in his promise that God promised for him, and end up saving Egypt, saving the lands that was outside of Egypt and stuff, forgiving his family and bringing his family into the palace to come live with him. And that really stuck with me, because it's like, if this man went through all of that and did not let his heart become hardened, did not become bitter, what's stopping me from forgiving people from my past? What's stopping me from letting go of the times where I was wrong and slighted and moving forward. And so I implore anybody who's watching this to think about those moments in your life where you feel like, yeah, I was wronged. I was wrong, but you know what? I'm not going to let that turn my heart cold. I'm not going to let that make me miss out on the blessings that God and the universe has for me because we're all here for a specific reason. We're all different for a reason. We all have different talents. There's a reason why each of us has something that's really special and unique about us because we're supposed to bring that light into the world. We're supposed to use our gifts, use our talents to help each other in community. That's at least what I believe. And you can't do that if you're being bitter. You can't do that if you're ruminating on what somebody has done to you, how somebody has wronged you, on how to get revenge and stuff, because you block your blessings. You're blocking yourself from moving forward and getting to the next level of your life. And you never know, those people who hurt you just may have to come back your way and get a blessing from you. That's what my grandmother used to tell me as a child. Like, you are digging your own ditch when you're wishing bad for the people who did wrong for you. Karma's going to come back for them, but your job is to continue to move forward with love, with peace, with happiness, and that will attract all that right back to you. So if you have any type of hard feelings, if you're thinking about the people who mishandled you and how you wish that you could get revenge and stuff can come back on them, don't worry. God will spin the block on them. Like the way how the universe works, whatever type of seed that you sow into the ground is gonna come back to you. I'm a firm believer of that. I've seen it. It's happened to me, and I'm sure it's happened to you. So think about those things and don't let it harden your heart because we all have a light that is inside of us that we need to use to help guide us into our purpose that we are meant to fulfill while we're here on this earth because we're only here for a short amount of time. So I hope that with that in Do Better Blues, if you are holding on to any negative seeds, any negative thoughts, you let it go and do better because you can't afford to block your own blessings. You can't afford to develop no autoimmune diseases. You can't afford to keep ruminating on the past because we got to move forward. Okay. Yes, it hurts, but that's why we got to do better. Yes, thank you, producer Clarissa. We got to release the negativity. You can't let goodness come in if you're holding on to negative energy. Okay. And speaking of letting go of negative energy and doing good, we're going to move into our next segment, which is called Rev Casey Taylor usually does this one. That's why it's skipping me. Giving reverence. Giving reverence. Who am I going to give reverence to today? Do you guys remember the show Malcolm in the Middle? The actor who played Dewey allegedly turned down a huge amount of money to return to the role because he's studying in school. And the mother who played Lois says like he's studying like Charles Dickens and stuff. And so he wants to be focused on school. And he wasn't swayed by the large amount of money that the studios kept on upping the offer to get him to come back. And I want to give reference to him because he's standing on something. A lot of people will let money motivate them and take them out of whatever their calling is. And I'm going to call him Little Dewey because I don't know the actor's real name, but we're just going to go by Dewey. But the guy who played Dewey is like, it doesn't matter how much money that you're giving me because that is not aligning with how I see my purpose. My purpose is for something else. Thank you for the water, Cash, but no, thank you. I need to stay in my purpose. Do any of you feel like you've had to turn down things because it didn't feel in alignment with your spirit, with what it is that you're trying to create or put into the world? I know I have. I've turned down several projects before because the type of work that I like to do, I love storytelling. I'm a writer naturally. That's my profession. I'm a writer. And when it comes to choosing what stories I'm going to write about, I get presented a lot of stories sometimes, but I always choose the ones that I feel really touches my heart and calls on me. I love telling stories about people, their personal experiences, uplifting, positive stories, stuff that is talking about how people have overcome adversity and challenges and stuff. I don't just pick up just any old anything. There's some people who would just pick up any and everything just to show like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. No, you have to be very purposeful in your work. You have to be moving with intention. And the actor who plays Dewey, that's a man who's clearly moving with intention. Even though I know in some instances you do have to make those type of decisions to make money because you need money to survive. Let's not be dense. You need money to survive. He obviously must not be needing for money if he's able to turn down a whole lot from a studio to work on his passion project. But I want us to think about moving with intention and doing work that is that's very much in alignment with our purpose. Don't burn yourself out trying to do any and everything. Don't burn yourself out picking up every offer that is given you. Okay. You don't have to pick up anything that's just given to you. Move with intention. If there's going to be something that's attached to your name, if there's something that you're going to be spending your time, your effort, your energy, your money on, make sure that it is something that you are very passionate about, that you really care about, and that is in a way going to leave the world in a better place than how you found it. I know that's how I try to move, and it helps to prevent burnout. And it makes me very proud of the type of work and the type of projects and the type of things that I create because it's stuff that's close to my heart, things that I think will help elevate people and move people forward and stuff. So let's go with moving with intention for the rest of the year. And I want to give a shout out to Wayne Baldwin who is watching. He is a very, very loyal viewer and he be leaving some good comments and stuff. So thank you, Wayne, for tuning in. And love only forgive always. Okay, I don't know what that means. But I want to thank you guys for joining us for this episode of What's Up and Why. Usually, Rev Casey Taylor will be here to give an excerpt from her Making Peace with Your Inner Shit Talker program, but they are not here today. They're taking some much needed time off, and I'm not trying to be on here just rambling about nothing. So we're gonna leave things off right there, and I want to end by just reiterating, let go of any past hurt that's hurt you. Let go of anybody who has hurt you in the past. Forgive them, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve it to move forward. Your heart deserves to be free and clear and light and not taking on any type of heavy burdens that people try to put on you. Okay. Don't develop no autoimmune diseases. Forgive their asses and move on. All right. Thank you for joining us for another episode of What's Up and Why. I'm Be Lovely. Stay lovely and have a lovely week.